What is going on, guys? Thank you so much for coming back to Cobra TV, and we're going to talk about my top 5 things that are my want list, my wish list, or the top 5 things that I want out of No Man's Sky that we really don't have yet. And I've never really done a top 5 before, but I was sitting there thinking and talking with somebody on the internet saying, what are the top 5 things that you want? And I'm like, you know what? That's a good thing to maybe share with some people. And I had a hard time making this video because there's so many things I want out of No Man's Sky. And so we're going to go ahead and get to some of these things. They are kind of in order. Okay, so the first thing I have on the list here is bigger and more interactive ships. Ships that actually have an interior that you can walk around in. You could store your exocrafts in. Not like the freighters, not that big, but these are ships that could be also planetary lander ships that you could take down onto the planets. Kind of like, what you would see in Star Citizen, Elite Dangerous, and Space Engineers. And they could hold these exocraft, and maybe some of these planetary lander ships, these bigger ships that actually have inventory, or not inventory, but interior that you can walk around in, are suited to hold a certain kind of inventory for building on planets, and some of them might be more suited with equipment on the inside to study the planets and things like that. So we could still have our same classes that we have, but these ships are just bigger, more interactive, sort of like the ship that is on Rodina. That one has a lot of inventory, I keep saying inventory, a lot of interior where you can walk around, you could customize it, and things, mean something, to where you have buttons on the wall that open up doors that lead you into your cargo bay where your exocraft are in, and I just think that's really needed in No Man's Sky. So that's probably number one. We're in our ships so much. I mean, we are in our ships a lot. So I think it's important that those ships feel better, feel more interactive, and just have more space to them. So that's at the top of my list. Longer travel times is the second one. And what I mean by this is I would love to see the need for planning to visit certain areas of space, where it's not just a destination that is the only highlight, but the journey to get there as well. Problems along the way could include like running out of oxygen in the ship, or needing to stop on a planet along the way due to parts of the ship not functioning well. Like over time, you can see that there's an alarm that's happening, and it could be some piece. The flux capacitor could be going bad or something. So things like that, and needing to replace or repair those parts. Maybe side missions that pull you out of the journey for a bit as well. Like, imagine being hailed by a Corvax research team deep in space under attack by Gek, who are first spawn sympathizers. Do we ignore that cry for help and continue our journey, or do we help them? And that's a decision that we can make, and maybe that decision is also packed down into our history, that we ignored them, and the Corvax remember that and don't give us very good upgrades, or don't want to talk to us half the time, or maybe who knows? I mean, just the journey to get there, I think, is cool. One of my best and fondest memories of No Man's Sky was journeying the old way to the galactic hub, the first galactic hub. When I got there, I was so ecstatic, dude. I traveled across the galaxy and pinpointed my way through, used a galactic map, and that was an achievement that was truly amazing. Now we could just use the glyphs, the portals to get there. But I think that the journey is definitely a big a need for the game to feel more rewarding. I don't think the portals are a bad thing. I think the portals were definitely added in to help out with multiplayer, with co-op, getting to friends quicker and easier. So that's second on my list. Just more of an adventure to get to some places. NPCs walking around. This is definitely a huge need for me, and I had a hard time thinking if I should put it on number 2 or number 3. But I would love to see this in like space stations and on the planets. Also would love to come over a hill on a planet after investigating blaster sounds to see a firefight going on, and I have to decide whether to get involved and also who to side with. So I would like to also see them getting out of their ships, walking around the space station, doing whatnot. I mean, we could do this in games like, you know, Grand Theft Auto and most other games and things like that. I would love to see it. I really would. And with them adding, you know, the Lion's Head developer who specializes in procedural cities to Hello Games last year, or I can't remember when he first started, but I don't think he started soon enough to start in providing content for Atlas Rises, but hopefully he did here. I would like to see like little clusters, and they don't have to be big giant cities like in Star Citizen, but little clusters that you could go to. And there's you know, Korvax walking around. There's Korvax standing outside of, you know, you see them coming out of a building, and then they go to the side of the building and they take this cable out of their belly button and they plug themselves into the sides, the electrical socket, and they just stand there and shut down. I mean, that'd be kind of cool. Like, that guy's charging. Check him out, man. Just, you know, things like that, you know, just see them walking around, see them in movement, see the life of these NPCs would be amazing to me. The next one on the list is more exploration. Landing on planets in No Man's Sky is already rewarding to me. I find the different landscapes, it's not seeing the same lasher plant everywhere that bothers me. What it is about No Man's Sky when I land on a planet is the shape and form of the land. You know, when you come across a canyon and you look down inside the canyon, and those are the things that amaze me, the shape of the planet. It doesn't bother me so much that I see like the same types of plants. I mean, sometimes it does, I'm not going to lie, but it's the landscape of the planet that really gets me in awe, and some of the colors and combinations of those colors. So it's already rewarding for me, but only if few of those planets keep me there for a while. I would love to have more reasons to land on some of these planets, such as maybe like equipment to study the planet, like as in the soil and the air and weather, and studying how natives live on that planet. Yes, I want natives on the planet. Possible history, and then you could take those stats that could be sold to NPCs about those planets. And maybe those stats could be sold to other players who are role-playing and studying the makeups of some of these planets, and they love to read the stats of these planets and figure out why weather is the way that it is there, and things like that. I would also love to see more variation in the inside of the space stations, more interior, more places to go, different places to go, and different space stations. I think there's also a need for more danger on the planets, whether that be danger from NPCs or of a race of natives. Yes, I want natives on the planets. A rumored about monster that you find in the lore, like maybe there's a lore card that you can get when you scan the planet. Oh man, that would be cool. It could be procedurally generated, the lore maybe. I also think that the fauna needs to be improved a bit, and with all that comes terrain as well, but we always see improvement with that in every update. I don't have a worry that they're going to keep improving on the terrain, but I do hope to see more with every update as well. And the last thing that I have on the list is kind of like my first thing, but I know a lot of people, they get upset, you know, when I consider this the first thing, but it's also, I want all of those things that I just mentioned. All of those things that I just mentioned would have to go with multiplayer, and multiplayer is the last on the list here. And I think, you know, Hello Games they have begun adding this in, with the, you know, adding in easier ways to get to each other with the portals, adding in the wisps so we can see each other and hear each other talk. But even before we as players have found ways to play the game together, even without the help of Hello Games. Building the hubs and, you know, using, building farms that we could all share together and things like that. So we've, you know, and streaming side by side, doing, you know, games like Permadeath Cage Match. Shout out to Ivy Mike. We found ways to play the game together, but Hello Games is now starting to build upon that, and I would love to see more of that. What I would like to see from this is having avatars, of course. I want to know what I look like, and seeing others, seeing each other as well. Also having more to do with each other, like building bases together and having multiple friends being able to claim the same base together as sort of like a community. Like we all in the base, our trusted friends, not strangers, can all claim it. So that way we can make changes to the base and plan the base out, build a nice big palace on one of the planets. That would be cool. Races, races like racetracks that we could all build together and race together. And maybe some tracks are so famous within our community that people travel across the galaxy just to give it a shot and maybe take on the person. Maybe there's stats with each of these races that you could scan the race, the racetrack, and see stats on who has the best times. Maybe some of these races aren't about best times. Maybe some of these races are about actually being able to complete them without dying. So maybe some of these races are extremely dangerous, and you could scan those races and see who's the top contender and try and beat them. And then if you do, you're there forever until somebody else beats you. And so much can be done with the multiplayer. Like, so much. The amazing and large hubs can really benefit from this as well. I think adding more multiplayer, more things to do with each other, more content to go along with the multiplayer would breathe a new life into the game. And I think we're unaware of how much life could be breathed into the game with multiplayer. I think it would be a game changer for No Man's Sky for the people that want it. But at the same time, you have to think that, with the universe, or with these galaxies within this universe are so big that you could potentially never run into anybody still. Whether, then there's the question about, whether PvP, no PvP. No Man's Sky is designed to where if there was multiplayer, you could choose to play it like a single player game, just by not going to these hubs, doing a scan in the space to see if people are nearby you. You could stay away from them. It wouldn't be hard to stay away from people in this massive game. And then that brings you to the next thing that we all ponder: PvP or no PvP. Do we have it to where it's something you turn off, or do you turn on? I really don't know. My background for gaming is PvP games. Myself personally, I would like to see PvP in the game. I think it would draw a new type of, not a new type, but it would give that feeling of shoot or don't shoot, and trust, and that fear of trusting somebody. So I'm not really sure what you guys feel about PvP. Does it belong in the game? Does it not belong in the game? Is it something that we should have an option to turn it on and off? If you do, I guess maybe you could turn it on and off, and if you do turn it off, you can't hurt anybody else. But that would have to be, that would have to be developed well, so that way you couldn't turn it off and then shoot somebody and turn it back on. I've seen that happen at the beginning of GTA, and I don't know if it's still happening because I don't play GTA 5 anymore. But I don't know. I think it's a weird topic because a lot of people feel like they don't want it. A lot of people feel like they do want it. To me, I don't care. I just want to get in the game and have things to do with you guys. I want to do community events and stream them live, and do races, and have like these No Man's Sky parties where we're doing events together. I still want to go out on a Lasher plant raid on a planet and just have a party where we're killing those damn things. That's still one of my dreams in No Man's Sky, and I want it to come true, and I think it will one day. I think it will. And so the Lasher plants of No Man's Sky need to worry, because we are coming. Understand that. We are coming. But that's my top 5. I know there's so much more that I wanted to really mention, but I didn't want to have a whole bunch of different things. I mean, I skipped a lot of stuff that I want out of the game, and these are like I guess the major staples of what I want in the future of No Man's Sky. Not out of this next update, but over the time I would like to see this. A good game for everyone to play as in addition to No Man's Sky, because we all play multiple games. We're not just, well, some of us are one-game people. I happen to normally fit into that category. I play one game for a while and ignore a lot of other games. But here recently, I have been, playing more than one game. And one of the games I've been playing is Space Engineers. That game is amazing. Absolutely amazing. The ships that we want in No Man's Sky are in Space Engineers. The planets are beautiful. They're not beautiful like No Man's Sky. Nowhere near the beauty of No Man's Sky. But they are. They're done very well. The space is absolutely beautiful. We could all get together and play with each other in Space Engineers. There's the building that is just unimaginable building in Space Engineers. It's just a really good rounded game, and I feel like since it's so old, people have forgotten about it. The game has been improved. I just don't feel like for some reason Space Engineers does not get enough attention. There's not a good buzz about it. So if you're interested, check out some videos of Space Engineers, but filter it so you can see new videos. Because the game has changed a lot, and there's a lot of old videos on YouTube. But Space Engineers, man, of my favorite games, it'd probably have to go No Man's Sky, then Space Engineers. That's my two favorite games at the moment. So I highly suggest checking out the game. It's definitely got my stamp of approval, if that means anything at all. I also want to include that for a while I have been trying to. I feel like I have typecast myself in No Man's Sky, and I feel like there is so much more for me to talk about when it comes to gaming and indie games and things like that. And for a little while, I was trying to stay with No Man's Sky and its content, and also try and untypecast myself, un-William Shatner myself from No Man's Sky. And I was recently thinking that that's not what I really want. I don't want to untypecast myself from No Man's Sky. I'm not going to get 1 million subscribers doing No Man's Sky content. It's just not going to happen. And, one of my dreams is to be, a successful YouTuber and community and build an amazing community. And I have. I to a certain level, I feel like it's all a success. And I have built an amazing community. But I'm going to refuse to upload content that is going to get me 1 million subscribers. That is a lie. That I'd be lying to myself. I'd be lying to the fan base. I would be. It would just be a lie, and I don't want to create content that I don't care about just to get 1 million subscribers. That's not important enough to me. So I'm fine with where I'm at, and I just wanted to kind of let everybody know that I'm fine right here, right now, with you amazing people. I don't need anything else. So with that, I'm going to be uploading content, a lot of content based on the community of No Man's Sky, based on what you guys are doing, what you're playing. Do you have fan art? Do you have sculptures? Do you have 3D printed items? Do you have t-shirts that you've made, paintings that you've painted? Do you have fan fiction that you've written that maybe you would like to see Cobra fumble through and with his bad reading? Do you have screenshots that you want to show? Do you have communities that you've built on PS4? Do you have communities you built on Facebook? Are you a community leader of Reddit? Do you want to come on the show and talk about what your plans are, what you're doing, what functions, events, things that you have going on? That's the kind of content that I, alongside Revenge of the Survivor, which I'm working on right now, is going to be coming back. Cobra's coming back to Euclid. The Atlas sent him into different games, and because it was embarrassed because Cobra just wouldn't die. So Cobra's coming back to the Euclid in this next episode, and I'm really happy, and I hope it comes out good. I'm still working on it. I was hoping to have it out this week, but it's not going to be out until next week, I think. So But with that said, the content is going to be focused on gameplay of No Man's Sky, and it's all of my gameplay, and also your stuff that you want shared. One thing I'm not shy about is shouting people out and letting people hear about your YouTube channels or your Twitch accounts or your your whatevers, your whatever. I want to express my gratitude that you guys have given me over the years, and I want to give that back by sharing your stuff and your channels and things like that. So the channel here it's not going to change. This is not something new that I've done. It's something I used to do a long time ago, and I kind of gotten away from it, and I kind of feel like that's bad on my part. Why did I get away from it? And it's so I apologize for that. So it's not like I'm going to be doing something new. It's going to be bringing back that community train again. Let's drive the train right into the park and show and everybody get out and have a party. I don't know. That made no sense. Maybe I'm going to edit that part out. Anyways, so follow me on Twitter at XXXCobra. Tweet at me things that you care about. Tweet at me. You want me to look at your YouTube channel? That's great. Give me permission to show clips of your YouTube channel, so that way I can let people know that you're uploading content. There's a lot of channels out there that are small that are creating great content. The Hidden Panda Show is creating great content. Mac Foley, if I said your name right, big shout out to Mac Foley. Great content over there. If you haven't seen him, please go check him out. I'm not going to sit here and go through everybody because that'd take too long and I'd probably forget people, but for sure, please tweet at me anything you want shared, and we're going to start focusing on the community again like we used to years ago, 100%. And that's going to be a lot of our uploads. We are still going to be uploading content of other indie games as well, just like we did back then years ago. We used to cover Identity while we were covering No Man's Sky heavily. We used to cover so many other games, Megaton Rainfall, while we were covering No Man's Sky heavily. I mean, we even interviewed the developer for Megaton Rainfall. So pretty much we're going to go back to our roots here on Cobra TV, but also this time we're going to put the pedal to the metal. We're going full force. I don't need 1 million subscribers. I just need you guys, and you're what's important to me. So I'm not going to do anything to change we are going to be adding a different format to the community outreach. We are going to still be covering other indie games, but I'm not going to try to untypecast myself. I'm not going to try and un-William Shatner myself. I'm happy. I'm extremely happy with where I am, and I love you guys for everything you've done for me. I love you for everything you've done for the channel here on Cobra TV. You guys are special to me. Yeah, you won't ever understand how appreciative I am of everybody. And the subcasts, we're gonna definitely do more. My sleeping schedule, because of my work schedule, is going to be different, and I'm going to be able to do more subcasts. So, a lot of stuff coming to Cobra TV, a lot of stuff, and I'm excited to start doing it. So, I talked way too much. Sorry about that. I don't think anybody even lasted to the end of this video, but I'm excited to get working. And again, thank you. Thank you, everybody. You're amazing people. As always, I love you guys, and I will see you all in the next video. Until next time.